Ugh. Cold coffee. Absolutely disgusting. Okay, okay. Ah, ha 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 ha. Hey there, hi there. Not Hyde here. No, just Jekyll. Doing some behind-the-scenes things right now that I don't actually have to do. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be fine. Don't worry, nothing's on fire, except for what was just on fire. And, I'm sure that that fire's gonna go out, nice and easy. Yeah, yeah, no disposal of corpses today. No, that comes later in the week. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I wouldn't be so silly as to use fire to dispose of a corpse. You'd end up with bone chips. And, bone chips are not a great idea. Okay, okay. Hey there, hi there. Oh, I missed something here. Yeah, okay. This one. This one, we want that one. Yeah, there we go, now I'm talking. Yeah, now I'm talking. We put this up, we put, this one up. And there we go! We're live. Can you believe it? I can't. Let's do our daily gacha in this fishing game. Why not? Seems like we ought to do that. In fact, what is that? Coffee beans? I don't even know what that was. That's fine too, you know? Did we go to the fish market? We did. I can't remember what we did. We only fish once per week, you know? I wish I had more time to fish in real life. I don't have time to fish in real life anymore. We're going to the river we unlocked last time. The Rocky River. Bass and pike. But we caught a salmon here last time, so I'm sure it's not that bad. Ooh. Ooh, what is this? We got some rain. You know, the weather is oddly familiar for me. This is about how it's been like, oof. I've been playing some Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword off stream, and I've got to tell you, the controls for this just feel awful after playing that. I'm sure it's fine, you know? Not being able to look up or down is very strange. We're just gonna go up here towards this downed log and see if we can remember how to fish. Just like every other year, you know? I gotta remember how to fish. Looks like we have, what is that on our line? Oh, we have caddis fly larvae. That's fine. Caddis fly larvae are good. So, yeah, I've been playing some Legend of Zelda offline. Trying to figure out how to, I guess, get motion controls to work. You know how that is? Hey there? Hi there? You're not Hyde, no. In fact, I'm not even sure that I'm Hyde, but it's good to see you, Diana. Everything's alright with me. Except this might have to be a shorter stream. I have a dentist appointment in, well, a couple hours. At the end of this, I will probably be, not sleeping. Otherwise, it's fine. Hi, Lila. Nice to see you, too. Nature sounds, yeah. If you like rain, you're gonna love this. The relaxing sound of thunderstorms. It is very early for you, though, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Very unfortunate. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're both here. I'm glad anyone's here, you know? I don't ever expect anyone to be here. Much like how I fish in real life, I just go out into the wilderness alone. And if I make it back, I make it back, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. 6:45 a.m. Yeah, that's not great. My appointment is in the morning sometime. I'll have to look. I'll probably have enough time to make breakfast, take a shower, that kind of thing. It's another dentist appointment. Um, it feels like I've been going to a lot of dentist appointments as of late, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have, in fact, gone to a lot of dentist appointments. uh, yeah, I try. Um, I've gotten back every other time. I did get lost once. Like, I went over a ridge line, right? And I got turned around, flipped, turned upside down, like Will Smith's life in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know, with the Carlton dance. Yeah, that one. I better. Okay. Um, Fun fact, I had a compass that day, so I should not have been flipped, turned upside down like that. Grayling. I don't even know what a grayling is. I've never caught a grayling in real life. Doesn't sound like a real fish. It sounds like a fantasy race, right? Like maybe something Tolkien would have written about. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. But yeah, I got turned around on a ridgeline once, on a looping trail, and I ended up in a completely different county from what I started in. And yeah, you can end up in a completely different county. Yeah. For those of you not in the USA, that's like a subdivision of a state. Bigger than a city, smaller than a state. Yeah, that happened. It was fine, you know. You just have to go back over the ridgeline. It makes sense though. Like ridgelines are what you might call mountains elsewhere. I don't know if they count as mountains. They're more like hills, really. And if you think about it historically, ridgelines would have been natural geographical markations, or I don't know, natural strongholds. I don't know. You could easily draw a line along a ridgeline, right? And then you could say that's the edge of this county. Yeah, that's true. Some are bigger than others. Um, Rhode Island, I don't know how many Rhode Island has, but it's gotta be pretty tiny, right? So I could see that. But let's consider it the average size, right? Not too gerrymandered, I hope. But, you know, that's a very American thing, too. I didn't realize that when I was learning. Why are we only catching these graylings? They're very gross fish, aren't they? They look more blue than anything. But let's get away from that debris over there and try something a little bit deeper. Yeah. See these little rocks sticking out? Fish love to hide behind rocks. They're low, yeah, they're low velocity zones, so the water doesn't push on them too much. Because the weather's gray, so are the fish. Very good, that's true. You are what you eat, and I have to assume those graylings are eating a lot of rainwater. So they're very gray, yes. Although if you think about it, like a cloud isn't actually gray. A cloud is made of water vapor condensed upon some kind of nuclei, right? Oftentimes smoke, small little bits of debris and pollen, that kind of stuff. But most of it's water and air. So it's really just the refraction of light through the water that makes it look gray. Or white, whatever you want to choose for your clouds. There are no mistakes here when you're painting with Hyde. Only happy little accidents that require happy little solutions like hydrofluoric acid and bone saws. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I recorded a video that I really like. I just don't know if I can upload it to YouTube. Right? Okay, we're gonna change our bait here. I'm tired of catching these graylings. So I recorded a video that I really enjoy, but at the same time, I probably can't upload. I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, what's the worst could happen? I'll add a disclaimer to it. It's a visual novel, right? I didn't write it. Right, right. Like, never dissolve the body in a bathtub. No, no, not copyright issues, Lila. Diana's thinking more on the right terms here. It has to do with disposing of a body. And, the author tried, you know? Bless their little heart. They tried to describe the process of disposing of a body. But you can tell. It's like their first time. They've never done it before. So they have no idea what they're doing. And they're creating all of this evidence. Yeah, I know. So I gave some pointers in the video. As Jekyll, of course. This was a Jekyll video. It would not fly as a Hyde video. But as a Jekyll video, it's fine. The only copyright issues I've come across recently have been for Hello Kitty Happiness Parade, which was actually a very fun game. I haven't played that since that test stream, unfortunately. I still have a few characters to unlock there. I think I got something like 8 copyright claims on that video, though. So I don't foresee that coming back. At least not with the music. Which is very unfortunate because it is a rhythm game, right? You kinda need the music in order to have the rhythm make sense. Very unfortunate. I was considering... Dang, yeah. Well, don't worry, that they're not copyright strikes, they're copyright claims. Which means, if I ever get monetized, which is not gonna happen, even if I meet the requirements, I'm probably not going to, like, send in tax forms for getting monetized. It's not really what I'm doing here, you know? But, if I ever do... I caught another grayling. This is disgusting. Look at that fish. Do you see those spines on the back? That fin is just disgusting. I hate it. We're going back down here. This is awful. I hate it up here. Actually, we're going upriver, if I think, I can't tell which way the water's flowing. It's kind of rippling. It's cute, don't be mean. Like, you think the shiny blue? I think you mean you like the shiny blue. Fun fact, there aren't too many blue things in nature. Not organisms. Most of the blue pigments, are very rare in nature. And, anything that looks blue is typically because of the interactions with light going on through refraction and reflection and whatnot. See, Hyde, everyone disagrees with you. That's nothing new. Graylings are cute. You like them. Yeah, everybody always disagrees with me. That's just how it works, you know? It's pain. But it's true. Yeah. I have a lot of strange ideas. I'm used to people disagreeing with me. What I'm not used to is catching graylings. I came here. Like, I spent, like, 8,000 gold coins. Like, I got 8,000 Krugerrands, and I came here with a license that I bought. I don't know. It's not worth it to catch graylings. It doesn't even sound fun. You like the bluish flowers? The forget-me-nots? Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if the forget-me-nots are actually blue, or if that is another one of those trickeries of light. I'm gonna go with the second one, although I have no basis for it. I'm not a botanist, no. Hyde says Hyde is bad. I disagree, of course. Well, now I just can't win, can I? There's no way that, oh, okay. This statement is false. Try that one. I like blue flowers too, you know? My favorite flower... Ugh. Why am I... Ugh. No one's gonna want to buy these. That's like the problem, right? You gotta remember, I am selling these fish. And, that's where I get my money. I'm a fishmonger. I've gotta sell graylings. Maybe if we change the name and call them blue bass or something. I've done what trick before? This statement is false? Yes, I love that. I love paradoxes. I can't afford not to be capitalistic, Lila. Think about it. This whole game is a gotcha game without the gotcha elements. Grayling Zoo? What is that, like a flea circus? I don't think so. I don't think anyone's gonna pay for, You know what? People like petting zoos, and I've seen people go pet, like, stingrays in an aquarium. So maybe, if I get enough of them... Ugh. Ugh. Maybe if I get enough of them, I can create a petting zoo. I don't know. But no one's gonna buy a grayling. It's a terrible name. It's like Chilean sea bass. It's not really a sea bass. It's like monkfish or something. And they're very ugly looking. Although I think they're kind of cute. They're definitely cuter than graylings, I can tell you that much. Thoughts on horseshoe crabs? Haven't I already been there? I think horseshoe crabs are kind of cute. I really like their telsons. They might be the closest living ancestors, or sorry, descendants of the trilobites. There was one person I was reading about, not in any scientific article, but on a website, on a sketchy website maintained by one person, that they are the living descendants of trilobites that had their body segments fused. There is some evidence to suggest a commonality, evolutionarily speaking. Weird spas with the fish that eat your skin? Oh yeah, yeah. That is a thing. You know, maggots work just as well. Maggots don't actually eat living flesh. Maggots only eat necrotic flesh. So, just if you don't have the money, get yourself some maggots and pour those on your feet. Same thing. Absolutely same thing. No different. And a lot cheaper. You will get the same effect for a lot cheaper. I don't know what grayling eat. It looks like they eat caddisfly larvae and at least tiny little fish. So it's possible that they would chew on necrotic flesh. Well, obviously we're not talking about necrotic flesh, right? We're just talking about dead skin. Although if you think about it, is dead skin technically necrotic flesh? I'm not sure. I'd have to check the definition on that. It's definitely dead skin cells, right? So it should be necrotic eventually. It's just so small an amount of rotting flesh on your body, you wouldn't typically think of it as necrotic, right? I think that's how it works. Yeah. It may be just a small amount? Right. Right, exactly. It might just be a small amount of rotting flesh on your body at all times, and an ever-growing amount that becomes not so small. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Don't think so. When I hear necrotic, I think rotting. Don't know if that's 100% accurate. Yeah, it is 100% accurate. I'll give you that. But dead skin cells, they've got to be rotting too. Is your hair necrotic too? It's dead, right? Ooh, that's a good question. Maybe necrotic refers only to proteins? Well, the follicle is protein, isn't it? I'd have to think about that. I don't think it's easily digestible, like skin is. Skin is easily digestible by skin mites and bacteria, and even fungi, right? That's why you get things like ringworm. I don't get things like ringworm. I've never had ringworm, thankfully. And I used to wrestle, so... Oh, I used to wrestle in, I guess, elementary school. So there would have been a lot of ringworm. Not like professional wrestling like you'd see on television, but like actual wrestling with the singlets and the headgear and the mouth guards and the grappling, you know, on a mat. As for hair, I don't think so. I don't think you can get fungal infections in your hair. I've had ringworm only once, got it from cat volunteering. Yes, that will happen. Ringworm is very tenacious, isn't it? So you gotta be very careful. Like, we had to bleach the wrestling mats with a low solution, or low concentration of bleach solution. You know what I mean. Let's try bread. Bread might work. Very unfortunate if you get it though, right? It's very unpleasant, and it is very hard to cure. Like, it takes a while. Like, all skin infections take a while to actually cure. Hey, what a lovely chatterbait episode, right? You know, we're talking about disposing dead bodies and necrotic flesh and ringworm. Yeah. Fun fact, it's not actually a worm. It is, in fact, a fungus. A lot of people get that confused because it is called ringworm. And there are parasitic worms out there, right? There are parasitic worms like flatworms, liver flukes, and pinworms. Pinworms are common. Just another day with Hyde, that's right. This is more of a Jekyll kind of topic, isn't it? Yeah. That's right. I do love my parasitic organisms. They're so fun, right? Like liver flukes, they have such powerful regeneration. See nothing out of place? Well, you're not wrong. Nothing is out of place. Everything is in place. uh, but yeah, that ringworm, much like athlete's foot, is a fungal infection of the skin. And it will go through openings in the skin cells. So there you go. That would count as necrotic, right? Are my teeth in place? After as many years and phrases as I had, they ought to be. They very well ought to be. um, yeah, for the most part. I'm still not happy with the filling that I've been messing around with for over half a year now. I think it's been over half a year that this filling has been giving me problems. Every time I go back in, they grind it, and they grind it more if they don't cancel my appointment. um, I was told that I'm really tired of catching graylings. It doesn't matter what I throw in here, it's just graylings. I was told that if it was still bothering me, that the next thing we would do is take x-rays and see if I need to have the filling replaced. And I probably do, uh, but I've had the workaround where I just don't chew on that side of my mouth, right? It's the same thing. Effectively the same thing. Jaw infection, not chewing on the same side of your mouth. Same. No problem. Got a silver something earlier and don't think you noticed. Oh, no, I didn't. I absolutely didn't. I'm sure it was just a grayling that was, you know, ostentatious. It had a very, silver bream. Yeah, okay. No, that makes sense. How do I change, how do I change... No. This one? Yeah. This one. We want, I don't know. What do we want? Do we want some leeches? That's an earthworm. Okay. We'll try an earthworm. They look like leeches to me, you know? Yeah, you're right. Okay, everybody disagrees with me, even reality. I get it. I get it. But, yeah. This time I think I'm due for x-rays anyway. So, they'll find out if I need to get that filling replaced. And all I had to do was, like, wait, right? Yeah, earthworms are what's going on here. Looks like a bass. Fun fact, I do not like catching bass. Bass are... They're fighters, sure. But I don't really like their mouths. They kind of creep me out with how they can dislocate their jaw so big. Yeah, they gross me out quite a bit. But they do like earthworms, so that's fitting. What do we have here? Not a bass. It's a perch. They kind of look like elongated bass, right? With this big fin on top. This is definitely like a predator, right? You can see the agile body shape, right? Very hydrodynamic. Just like those box cars. Like, have you seen modern SUVs? They are so ugly, right? But they're very, like, aerodynamic because of that, like, lumpy shape and then, like, this rounded bit at the end. SUVs, like modern sport utility vehicles, have the same shape because it's very aerodynamic. In this case, it would be hydrodynamic because it's a fish. That one is ugly. I agree. They're very ugly. Yes, the mouth is very weird. It's very elongated, so it's kind of like it's definitely elongated for catching prey, but it doesn't like open up as much as a bass. So it's like a flat-headed bass, I think. Yeah. Better than grayling, though. Think the eyes are cute. I don't know. Fish eyes are very creepy to me. Like, they're very lifeless. I don't see any intelligence when I look at a fish's eyes, you know? I don't see sapience. There might be sentience. They might feel something, like terror when I catch them. OMG, yes? Yes. They're like a doll's eyes, painted on, because they don't blink. Well, they don't have eyelids. They have eye coverings, but they don't have eyelids. Creeps you out? I don't blame you. They are very creepy to me. So many things that are... Yeah, well, plenty of things creep me out. It's just not like horror games or horror movies. It's very specific things, like the eyes of a fish, for example. I also find pinworms creepy, only because of the way their bodies undulate. Yeah, and the fact that they're parasitic. Like, if pinworms weren't parasitic, their body undulations probably wouldn't worry me so much. I don't... I don't hate horror. I'm quite a big fan of zombie media. There's another perch. So I like zombie movies, zombie novels, zombie anime. High School of the Dead, for example. It's a shame that never got finished. Very fan servicey, though. I do not recommend it for the fan service. But it is one of the best depictions of Romero zombies in a Japanese franchise that I've ever seen. And I've seen a few. I like rotten flesh. I don't actually like rotten flesh. If you've ever, like, smelled rotten flesh, it has a very distinctive smell to it, right? It's kind of sweet, kind of moldy. It's surprisingly sweet. It's very strange. Most people think that rotten flesh would smell grosser than it does, but it actually does smell very sweet. Stream is a circle, it's all connected. It's a circle because my mind is chaotic, and that's how it works. Like, it's all jumbled together, and that's really floppy. I don't like that. A roach. Yes. Roaches are good, yeah. I've never caught one in real life either. I mean, like, the insect, I've caught a few of those. I used to have, No, I think I still do have it. I have a picture of myself holding a giant Madagascar hissing cockroach from when I was in high school. They're very cute. Oh, I was part of the science club. In fact, I was the president of the science club. Unanimously elected despite not running. Yeah. Thrust into the position of power despite not wanting to be there. Why do I like zombies more than other monsters? Oh, that's a great question. When I was like, I don't know how young, somewhere around 5 or 6, my father put on George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, and he let me watch it with him. And for reasons I will not get into, I thought it was really happening, right? Like, I thought there were really flesh-eating ghouls rising from the dead and attacking people. Like, I thought that was real. And, yeah, I was traumatized for at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. Of course you were. Of course I were what? What? Oh, you're talking about president of the science club? Yeah. Yeah, I was. And, we did an event that was based on fear factor stuff, and mine was based on insects. And I created a, race course for giant Madagascar hissing cockroaches, and I was in charge of the race course for giant Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Yeah. And I would also let people hold them. Like, the thing was, you had to pick up your own racing roach, right? So you had to reach into this box full of giant Madagascar hissing cockroaches, and yes, you have to say the full name every time, and you would have to put it down in the racetrack yourself. That was the fear factor part. And then the winner got something like a piece of candy. Yeah, it was a good time. They're very cute, very docile. The hissing sound actually comes from them releasing air from their spiracles, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And spiracles are these like tiny openings in the exoskeleton of an arthropod, typically an insect when we're talking about spiracles. But yes, they're the gas exchange ports for the chitinous exoskeleton. Most bugs don't have lungs, for example. Did the roaches like racing? No. No, that they were not happy to race, unfortunately. Mostly they just sat in the corner. Yeah. So really, it was a matter of just waiting to see, right? Which one got lucky enough. It wasn't really the fastest one would win. It was the one with the luckiest roach that just happened to move in the right direction. But yeah, most insects don't actually have lungs. Valid, valid indeed. Spiders have something called book lungs, and they kind of function like lungs. That's why a lot of spiders can get so big. Well, that's not the only reason, but that's part of the reason, right? I'm not an entomologist. I don't study arachnids either. So take this with like a grain of salt, right? But I'm telling you mostly correct information. And the rest of it can be fudged, right? Yeah. But, yeah. Think about it. Humans actually respire a little bit through their skin, a bit like an amphibian, right? we can do some gaseous exchanges through the membranes of our skin. It's very well known that humans have a semi-permeable skin, right? That's why things like lotions work. Hyde is not an expert, just a nerd. I resemble that. Yeah, I do. I don't even think I'm a nerd. I don't think that's true. Maybe a little. Maybe a little. I was very outdoorsy for a nerd, you know? I don't think I fit in with the nerd crowd so much. Maybe. Like, there was no crowd in high school that I didn't fit in with. I was one of those social chameleon types where I just wandered from group to group, and I was pretty much accepted anywhere. Not even debatable. I think it's debatable. It's pretty debatable, you know? It wasn't like I was on any chess teams or anything, you know? I was just there. Outdoorsy nerds are just a variant. What kind of variant is that? What would an outdoorsy nerd be? The only thing I can think of is like a druid. Which, of course, I was going to be. Oh, thank you, Internet. Dropping frames. I've been having Internet as of late. Probably the storm going through again. Yeah. Like I said, the weather is very reminiscent of what's happening today. You can be an outdoorsy nerd. My father was one. He is a biologist. I see. Biologist count, yes. Variant of a nerd. Nerd variant. I don't even get a name. Just when I die, it's going to say nerd variant on my tombstone. Like an NPC monster. I'm a mob, right? But at least I'm a variant mob. Grass type nerd. I see. Being a nerd is about seeking knowledge and loving it. I think that's just being curious, right? Never losing your natural curiosity. Yeah. Childlike wonder. I'd prefer if you called me very innocent. Yes. Nature. What are you even trying to make me, a Pokemon? I thought it was a mob, right? Like, a D&D mob. Skeleton archer variant, something like that. You are not innocent, though? Hey, hey. I can't keep a straight face. Maybe not. I'm innocent enough. You know how to dispose of corpses? Look, just because I watch a lot of crime dramas doesn't mean, you know, I know how to actually dispose of a corpse. Even if I do, I shouldn't say that I do. You know? Ooh, that might be a bass or it might be a big perch. I can't tell. It looked a bit flatter than the perch. Yeah, I guess there are nature-type nerds out there, right? You got your geologists like me, you got your biologists, your botanists, ichthyologists, entomologists. Just a really big perch. Still better than a grayling. I'll give you that. um, I can see the parallel to Pokemon, right? Like, that would be like a rock-type nerd variant, I guess. Which is interesting. There are Pokemon that change their typings based on certain environmental conditions, right? Like Wormadam, for example. We caught one of those when I was playing um, Legends Arceus, right? Grass type, and then the evolution for Wormadam's coat would change the secondary typing. Yeah. So I could see that. Right, we were talking about disposing of corpses. Good segue. Thank you for that. Thank you for the reminder. So I have a video coming out talking about disposing of corpses and some proper techniques for doing it. I hope it's coming out. Steel Wormadam. Trash bags. I think... Okay. I think the steel Wormadams are very cute. You know? I really like the pink. The coloration... I'm secure enough, okay? Like, my favorite Pokemon is the shiny Heracross. Specifically the female shiny Heracross, right? The female shiny Heracross is bright pink, and it has a heart-shaped horn. And they are absolutely adorable. I spent so long breeding a shiny female Heracross, trying to get perfect IVs on it. And I bred it in a love ball, so that when I used it, little hearts would come out of it. Yes, with the heart horn. They're very cute. And I think Wormadam, the steel-type Wormadam, has a lovely pink coat, you know? It's also another one that I really enjoy, but as far as, like, ability goes, Wormadam is not a great Pokemon. The only advantage of having a Wormadam is, I think, bug and grass. No, bug and rock typing, which was very rare. Or was it ground? I can't remember. One or the other. Dang, how long did that take? Longer than I will admit to. At least 20 hours. I bred a team of bug types with all perfect IVs, and I trained it with EVs exactly how I wanted the team. And then after that, I decided I want a shiny Heracross, and it has to be female. Unfortunately, I never got it to the perfect IVs. Hell yeah? Nice to see you, Storm. Yeah, you did actually catch it, just like I caught that perch. Yeah. We're not actually trying to catch perch, though, you know? I am still trying to catch salmon, not graylings. What is that? Carp? No. Snail? No. No. Well, I guess we'll just stick with earthworms. What were you saying earlier? Oh, we were talking about necrotic flesh, ringworm, dead skin, disposing of a body, that kind of stuff. Oh, right, Storm. Should I say Storm? Or are you, not Storm right now? There was a little bit of confusion, right? Denying being a nerd? There was that, as one does, yes. Real. Yeah, okay, I was a bit of a nerd growing up. I may have, taken as much science as I could. Fun fact, when I went to college, I decided to go into a field of science that I knew next to nothing about, and that's how I ended up in geology. It was one of the sciences I knew the least amount about. So everything else that I've talked about, all the other science stuff, is pretty much high school level for me. And a lot of it's been forgotten. A bit, sure. Beat the hacker? Oh, very good. Good to see you back, Storm. Very good. Nerds are cool. I think nerds are more appreciated now than they used to be. Takes all science, ignores dating in a dating sim. Just like real life. Pain. No, it's fine. It's fine, you know? You don't need to date. The only dating I need is radiometric dating, using radioisotopes of strontium and the like. Why not? People who try to learn a lot are awesome. I think the nice thing uh, is to never stop, learning. But not in the sense that you keep learning like it's habitual, but in the sense that you never lose the childlike innocence, the childlike wonder about the world and how it works, you know? I think a lot of people get caught up in learning facts and figures and charts and mnemonics, and they just forget to learn how to learn because they memorize, right? Yeah. I don't think memorizing is the way to go when you're lifelong learners. I think never losing that childlike wonder is where you really ought to try. Yeah. If you can keep the childlike wonder of how does this work, how does that work, then you'll always be interested in learning. And it won't ever feel like learning. It'll just feel like you're living, you know? How do I remember what I learned from high school? I have a very strange memory, right? It's very jumbled. I don't remember everything all at once. I think about something and then it's associated with something else. And it's kind of like links in a chain. If I pull on the chain, one thing will lead to another thing. That's how it works, yeah. That's why I can remember what a spiracle is called or what an operculum is. Um, or anything like a lancelet, you know? One of the first, like a protovertebrate. Something with a notochord. Yeah. I don't know how I remember most of these things. I can tell you I always had somewhat of a good memory in the sense that I could memorize things. So I'm kind of a hypocrite talking about never losing your childlike wonder, learning how to learn instead of memorizing things. But I never really had a problem memorizing things in school. I could hear it once and I generally understood it. Yeah. And then it generally got stuck in my brain, never to be seen again, right? It's like trigonometry, SOHCAHTOA, that kind of stuff. You just forget it, but it's in there. And eventually it becomes muscle memory. Like, I think about this a lot. How does the brain work? Actually, OP. No, I wish. I wish, but it comes with the counterpoint of me not remembering a lot of other things. Like what day it is. I know it's technically Monday because I am streaming, but 5 days out of the week I don't know what day it is, and 2 days out of the week I'm wondering if it's my streaming day. You know? So there are a lot of things that aren't really great. And another thing I'm not great at is memorizing faces. Faces are just lost on me, or at least the first couple, showings. Some kid asked me how to solve a parabola. Oh, yeah, yeah. Formulas for parabolas, I can't remember those. You'd probably have to do a function, and we always use graphing calculators for those. So, days aren't that important. They are if you have appointments. Here's another thing that's more important that we talked about last week. My gummy vitamins. I have to remember to take my gummy vitamins every day. And some days I forget whether I took my gummy vitamins. I don't want to put gummy vitamins in like a pill container. I'm not going to do it. Or meetings or work deadlines. Exactly. Exactly. Alarms? I have been sleeping through my alarms as of late, waking up later and later. Nowadays I'm waking up around like 8 p.m. and I'm finishing my work around 1. It's not great. It's something. Set alarms, modern solutions for the modern world. Yeah, yeah. I never forget to set my alarms. I just usually sleep through them. More alarms. I have several set. I have... They are loud. They're very loud. I usually fall asleep with, like, earbuds in. I know it's not great, but it's the only way I can sleep, right? So I have earbuds in and I'm listening to something. Usually like an audiobook or like spooky stories. Green text, for example. Robot alarms vibrate. I don't think it would vibrate. That would just be very strange to me. Pretend that someone will kill you if you don't get out. Yeah, drone alarms. Oh, these are all great solutions. Set the alarm as a fire alert. I've slept through fires. That wouldn't work. Never forget anything again. uh, yeah, yeah, some of these would be very panic-inducing. I have slept through an actual fire, small one, so I don't think that would work. Sorry. um, no, I don't think it works. Panic will get you energetic in the morning. Well, here's a fun fact. My gummy vitamins have caffeine in them, so I take those with my coffee, and I get extra caffeine. And those I take with my morning smoke. Yeah, which takes about 10 minutes. But then I get caffeine and nicotine, which is the only way that I get my brain working at all. Yeah, it's not great. Like, the older I get, the harder it is for me to concentrate on things. Like, the brain fog just gets thicker and thicker. I don't know. Eventually, I think it's probably going to take me like 3 hours every morning just to wake up. Yeah, evening. Like, I did say I wake up at around 8 p.m., right? Yeah, now. It used to be 5 p.m. It's getting worse and worse. Eventually, I'll wake up in the mornings again. That'll be fun. Oh, it's not great. It's not great at all. Yeah, yeah. Evenings are my mornings. It's true. And I don't see any problem with that, you know? Like, it doesn't pose any problems for me. Not really. Other than that, like, most businesses are diurnal. So I have to wake up or not sleep in order to go to the dentist or go grocery shopping. Things like that. Yeah. Other than that, it's no problem at all. Lack of vitamin D, though? You know, the Western world is facing an epidemic of low vitamin D. And that's just the way of it. Nocturnal shifts would be a dream. I did used to work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shifts, so I'm not opposed to night shift working. Yeah. Just seeing the sunrise when your day is over. Look at me, what about me? Oh yeah, I'm fishing. Oh, oh. Oh, sure. That's what you mean. I'm pale. Yes, you know, in real life I'm not that pale. I did go hiking the other day, right? I was drunk, I remember. As pasty as one could be. I am not pasty. Okay, I'm pale, but I'm not pasty. Vampire. Fun fact, I have a model for that now. Yes. It is actually much paler than I am. Like, I have the skin tones for these images, because I edit them myself, and I give myself new models and new variants of models. Yay, vampires. Yes, yay, vampires, that's right. There will be vampires sometimes. Slay? Please do not slay. I like being alive. In real life, I do occasionally see the sun, and given the, heritage that I've talked about before, I do have, a little bit of olive skin, whenever what is that emote? Log? Why a log? I don't get that. Forest? Slay forest? Wood. Wood. Like sandalwood? I don't really like the smell of sandalwood. Wood steak? Oh, oh. Slay the wood? Wood steak, okay. Yeah. You're gonna need something a little bit sharper. Like, my heart's a small target. You're gonna have to have a fine point. Yeah, yeah. I see. People are much smarter than I am in my chat. I get it. I'm used to that, right? I'm used to being not the smart one in the room. That's fine, because you're all watching me fish, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what you're doing with your time. uh, if I were a vampire, what kind of wood would I want staked through my heart? That's a good question. If you're gonna stake my heart, maybe mahogany? Like, make it a really nice mahogany. Yeah. Or maybe an ebony wood. Something like that's very old and that you might not find commonly. Something classy, yeah? Or you could get something like petrified wood. I think that'd be very cool. You could kill me because I'm a geologist vampire with petrified wood. I think that makes sense. Vampire rock variant. Smart one? Well, thank you. Disagree with that? Big heart. Well, no. Sorry. That one I'm going to disagree hard on. Yes, very hard. Although I from time to time get Big Red Heart stuck in my head, and that's like Hachima's song. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. But that's the only Big Heart that I think of. Big Brain too. No, no, I'm assured it's normal sized, right? Like I have a small cranium, so it's gotta be a small sized brain. I wear like one size fits all hats, and they're usually too big for my cranium, right? So I have to assume that I have a small cranium. Yeah. Now it could be a very crenulated brain. I'm not sure. It's very possible. Oh, fun fact. Speaking of crenulations, did you know that the Earth is not a sphere? It's actually like a pear shape, and it's more of a crazonoid. And a crazonoid is, if you've ever seen a craisin, like a dried cranberry, that's what the Earth's landmass looks like without the ocean. And that would be the shape of the Earth. Yeah, a craisin. Aren't all hats one size fits all? No. No, you can get custom fitted hats. I have a custom fitted hat. I don't know what size it is. It's not my size. Take that, round earthers. Correct. Yeah, it's true. The Earth is not round. It is not spherical. That's a lie. Just one of the many lies the government tells people. I don't know about that fact, Hyde. What fact? That the Earth is not round? It's not. I'm telling you it's not. I studied this. Don't question a geologist on geology. I know that much. Unless I'm, like, going insane. Which is quite possible. I've been there before. And I'll be there again. I'll be there again. Yeah. No. It is an oblate spheroid. Or an oblate crazonoid. Whichever you prefer. Yeah. And the, fun... Ooh. The fun thing about that... I don't lie. I entertain. There's a difference. I can't believe people would tell me I lie to my face. That's a lie. I'm a very honest person. Sometimes. Now Jekyll will lie straight to your face. Don't trust a thing Jekyll says. What about the childlike wonder? Just question everything and everyone. I agree with that. Yeah, I absolutely do agree with that. You should have a healthy skepticism about all things, even your own existence. I think that anyone who isn't a little bit unsure about their own existence is someone who is in need of a little bit of skepticism, right? Question everything. I want to believe. The truth is out there, Storm. Should voiceover? Sigma comments? Sigma comments. I've seen those. Those are really popular, right? Those little voiceover videos where people read like Reddit posts or comments. I've seen that. uh, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to tell me though. Are you telling me that I have Sigma energy? Or that I would make a good, like, voiceover person? You don't want to see my dark side. I see, okay. You're calling me edgy. I get it. Be funny? Yeah, maybe. I could give it a go sometime. I've always been kinda iffy about things like that because, you know, it's not my content. So I technically can't own it. I've always been iffy about that. But it would be an interesting thing, both. Good voice for it. Wrinkle up and die from secondhand pain. Oh yeah, the cringe would be great. No, I'm not calling you edgy. It's fine, you can call me edgy if you want. I don't actually have too much edge in my character, do I? Like, I'm supposed to be Edward Hyde. Oh, we need to go back. We need to go back to the beginning. Our net is full. I appreciate it, you know? I will just assume the worst, though, yeah. I don't actually have too much edge in my character design or my character, despite being Edward Hyde, notable for killing people. I was supposed to make, a character that was a bit edgier. I just never got around to it. Not one to talk soft, squishy, man. I am not soft or squishy. Sorry. Not one to talk about edge, anyway. I don't really think what you do is edge. I think what you do is abstract, right? Yeah, I think edge is more like multiple belts, like nothing but belts, like Final Fantasy characters comprised entirely of belts and belt buckles. That would be edge to me. Yeah. Edgy is cool? This has a bad rep? No. Yes, I'm edge? What? No, we don't do that here, Storm. Yes, yes. You need biblically accurate belt angels. That's what edgy is to me. But Lila is right. Like, edge, as long as it's not taken too far, can be interesting. Like Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. I think Squall had just the right amount of edge. Or the Crow. Brandon Lee, the actor, as the Crow in the movie The Crow. I think he had enough edge, but a little bit too much. Uh, I don't know. I agree that it's a bit of a fine line, right? Like, I'm pretending to be an anime character online. Is that edgy? I don't know. It's strange in a lot of ways. I don't want to make content with my face on it. That's all it really is. I'd have to shave. I don't want to shave. You know? I'd rather not shave. Like, I like this mustache. It's mine. It will be mine forever. Where is my cursor? There it is, at the bottom of the screen. Very hard to see. Thinks back to a certain scene in Disco Elysium that made Hyde malfunction. Ah, which one? We didn't actually get to the scene that made me malfunction the most in my first playthrough. I don't know if we ever will. I actually archived the data for that just yesterday so that I could play Skyward Sword. Yeah. I don't know. We might never go back to Disco Elysium. I'm not quite... why do my chat members know my own content better than I do? Like, this is one of those things that I just don't remember. It's like faces and names and people and the chemical structure of sugar, which is a hexagon. Yeah, it's like one of those things where I just forget it. The scene that really got me in Disco Elysium was the first nightmare scene with Harry when he's sleeping on the first day. And, yeah, the reptilian brain comes out. And, oh god, that scene where it just talks about the ex-wife. Oh, that hurt. That was pain. Yeah. And then, I really don't want to talk about Disco Elysium. Not today. No, not today. Silverbream? What are we fishing with? Bread? When did we start fishing with bread? Did we run out of earthworms? I think we ran out of earthworms. What else do we have? Got some... I don't know. What do we got here? Let's just use minnows. Minnows are fine. I don't really remember too much of the playthrough. I was thinking about booting it back up today, right? Like, I feel like Disco Elysium is one of those adventures that I really want to have on my channel. It's a very interesting game. And I've been looking at games like it. Like Kentucky Route Zero, or Narco, or A Night in the Woods. Things like that. And I've been considering a lot of new games. And I actually have a few in my Steam library, right? And I have a few games on my Switch library now that I'm thinking about playing as well. It's just a matter of doing it. Project Sekai, specifically Mizu 5. Night in the Woods is wonderful. I've never heard of Mizu 5. I have heard of Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods was played by one of my favorite streamers of all time. She is a VTuber now, but she used to be a member of just the Yogscast, Zoe Proazek. She still streams, but she is a VTuber now. And she absolutely loved that game too. I didn't know it was the game that I was looking at for the longest time. But I've heard nothing but good things about the game. And I never watched the full playthrough of it. So, it is a bit of a mystery to me. Tried playing Night in the Woods, too close to home. I hear it's very, very heavy. Got depressed. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Look at that. That is a beautiful rainbow trout. Well, it's a very ugly rainbow trout. Maybe it's a brown trout. Like, looking at this is just like generic trout. You'd think this red stripe would be rainbow trout, but these little pockmarks are more consistent with a brown trout. Maybe it's a trout I don't know about. Phantom Rose Scarlet is an anime card game with a gothic aesthetic, and it's overall fun. Card games... I'll take a look, but I can't make any promise about card games. I've never been big on card games except for, like, actual card games, like poker. And I'm not very good at betting. Yeah. Want to finish it someday? I have heard nothing but good things about Night in the Woods, and I've heard it's actually Lovecraftian in nature, which is fantastic. There's a nice title, Lovecraft. Phantom Rose Scarlet. I don't know. Like, I guess I did play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up, and I have Pokemon cards. I have a lot of Pokemon cards still. Nothing good. I had a first-gen deck. I think it was like the Steam deck, which was Water and Fire. I have a lot of first-gen cards, but none of them are really too expensive. I do have a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the starter deck Kaiba. That is the tiniest bass I've ever seen. Look at this thing, it's tiny. Beautiful. You're talking about the trout, right? Yeah, the eyes are dead. Makes it easier to cut their head off when their eyes are dead like that, yeah. They are delicious, though. Trout are one of my favorite fish ever to eat. Yeah, they're absolutely delicious. Another big one that I really like are bluegill. Jesus? No, no, just Hyde today. If you want to talk to someone spiritual, talk to Id. Id will be making a return soon. I have plans for Id. I just haven't... You know what? I spent 2 hours recording video for Id the other night, and I didn't like it. I didn't like any of it. So I'm going back to the drawing board on that idea in particular, and we will get that back eventually, right? There will come a time when it will return, and it will be soon. And I like the idea very much. Aw, no, it's fine, it's fine. Sometimes you get an idea good enough, right? that you want to do it well. That's what I'm doing here, right? Like, I like the idea enough that I want to do it justice. So I don't mind recording more than 2 hours for it. It just means, like, there are 2 hours of content that you'll never see because it's not good enough. That's all. I have a better idea of how I want to do it now, though. Yeah, I've given it a couple days of thought, and I realized what I need is a snazzy intro. Something to unify the themes of the video itself. Yeah, yeah. I've got a lot of passion projects going on that are just never going to get finished, I think. Hyde bloopers and deleted scenes. You know, I've thought about it. If you check my channel, there's actually a playlist called Cut Content. And cut content is just content that I decided I would never edit. I would never finish editing. I would never put it together. And that's really what it is. Just content that's never going to be seen. And I have a fair bit of that. Never say never. You're right. When I got COVID the second time, I started pulling from cut content to make stuff. And it worked out fairly well. People didn't even realize I was sick for the most part. Despite me not being able to record for a while. I have a fish on the end of this line, right? I'm not going crazy. It didn't snag me. I see it flapping around over there on the opposite shore. This is a big fish. Good fight. Might be a bass. We could lower the drag. Lower the drag, not increase the drag. See, that little slidey bar on the left-hand side? That's the drag. That's how much force I'm pulling this fish with. How much give the line has. And if I increase the drag, you can see a little bar in the middle there, at the top, going red. Yeah, if that goes red, the line will snap. You can see the way the tip of the rod is moving. How much pressure is on the line, and the rod itself. This happens in real life too, right? I typically use ultralight tackle, so fighting fish like this, not uncommon, but this is a really feisty fish. Ooh, I think it's a trout. I really do like trout. Oh, it's a pike. Gross. Look at that. That's actually an apex predator in a lot of streams. You can see based on its, like, torpedo-shaped design that it's really streamlined, right? It's made for speed and sudden burst of, you know, acceleration. And these snake-like jaws, right? These are sharply lined teeth, you know? They're very, like, needle-like. They're like pliers. They'll latch onto a fish and, kill it by, like, stabbing and impaling it. And typically, they'll swallow things whole. Like, a lot of fish will. Think he's neat? He is neat. I just hate catching them. They're very not fun to catch. Because, these sharp teeth, they can do a lot of damage. They really do. I don't like it. You're supposed to have a steel leader on your line. A steel leader is, like, put at the end of the line, before the hook, right? So it's kind of like a steel bit of line at the end of your fishing line that attaches to the rod. Yeah. And that's so that those pike can't bite through it. Because those sharp teeth will cut your fishing line. So if this were a realistic game, I would have lost that fish a long time ago. Another baby bass. Yeah. Really tiny. I've not really caught too many bass in my life. It's mostly gone fishing. That's right. Welcome in, Mr. Cosmic Duck. We're just talking about necrotic flesh tonight. Fishing, nerd stuff. The good stuff, yeah. How ringworms aren't actually worms. Can't be used as fishing bait. Just a fungal infection. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like putting out, like, There we go. I don't really feel like putting out bloopers because I feel like the bloopers are the best part of my videos sometimes, you know? I'd being a liar about being a nice person. I never said I was a nice person. I would absolutely 100% agree with you. If I said I were a nice person, that would be a lie. I'm not. I'm not. Thank you for playing my game, loving the channel. Oh yeah, no worries. Yours was the mime, right? Yeah, I think so. I really enjoyed the mime, and of course I really enjoyed tasting the mime slime. Corrected myself before you spoke. Yes, yes, you did. Because you are on a delay for me, right? Rather, I'm on a delay for you. That's a salmon. Yes. Salmon are related to trout, but they're not trout. I really did enjoy the mime, by the way. It was a good visual novel or interactive fiction. I always get it a bit confused, right? Like, I feel like all visual novels are interactive fiction in a way. Because they're buttons you can interact with. But, yeah, yeah. I really enjoyed, the options in the mime, right? Like, there were clearly good options and clearly bad options. Like, tasting the mime slime or taking the creepy path, for example. Yeah, I really appreciated that. That makes for good content, talking behind the scenes like this, you know? So thank you for checking out the rest of my channel. I swear, 90% of the time, I am just doing a character on my videos. Like, it's pretty obvious I don't talk like Clown Hyde, right? Yeah. This is just me, right now, having a chat with anyone who wants to be here. And that's how I like to use my streams, right? Yeah. Of course. Good, good. Sometimes I do wonder, you know? Like, I wonder how people feel about me playing a character while playing their games. Like, sometimes I have to say some strange things. Like, I recorded another visual novel that's going to probably come out, if YouTube allows it, about disposing of a body. And I'm playing, Jekyll, and Jekyll is the crazier half of the Hyde and Jekyll pair on this channel. And I do wonder how people would react to that. That's right, Diana. Jekyll. Jekyll's a good person, right? Jekyll's a very nice person. He's a nice scientist. He's always willing to help you out when you have a problem with a body to dispose of. That's right. Yeah. Now that's a bass. Look at that. You can see how my thumb is going through its mouth. That's perfect. Super nice. These bass are not really, speed predators, right? They have speed to them because they're pure muscle for the most part, but they're not really the speedy, like, agility type you'd see in, like, trout or pike. They're really just tanks. They'll go after something, and they'll, like, outpace it, or they'll, just through tenacity and endurance, be able to catch and eat it. And these large mouths, very characteristic of things that swallow their prey whole. And their mouth little flap there can actually extend further with the largemouth bass, yeah. We gotta go back and sell these fish. Yeah. Jekyll is very nice. Hyde is just normal me. That's how it runs, right? Clown Hyde. I don't actually do too many Clown Hyde videos. There aren't too many options to pull out Clown Hyde, right? Like, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but Clown Hyde is supposed to be the business-oriented side of me, and anything that has, like, a business attached to it is going to pull out Clown Hyde. Or if there are clowns in the game, and mimes count as clowns. Normal you is very nice. I disagree. I don't really like being called nice, you know? I think nice people, I think nice, I think there's a difference between niceness and kindness. And I've said this many times, right? People do prefer Jekyll. people do prefer Jekyll. He's more entertaining. Of course, my chat will disagree with me. Everybody disagrees with me. Except for the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Hyde is just not as entertaining as Jekyll. He doesn't say the crazy things. I'm not people. You're not. You're a person. Yeah. Isn't that better? To be a person than to be a people? You have a face. You have a name. Yeah. I think that's better than being people, don't you? Being an individual. Having an identity. Yeah. I'd prefer that over being people. But, no. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the difference between niceness and kindness. I don't like being called nice, you know? Like, I think nice, and I hear, compliments, and, you don't have a face, I hope I still count. You do have a face. It's a big blue, bubble with a D inside of it. That's your face. But yes, you count as a person. When it comes to nice, I think of people who say things that are nice. People who say compliments, and they're very concerned about how people react to what they say, right? They don't want to step on toes. But that's not me. I will step on toes if I believe in what I'm doing and saying. I will step on toes. Kindness, on the other hand, is something where you treat people with respect, right? And I will admit to being kinder than some people. I don't particularly think I'm a kind person either, but I'm definitely kinder than I am nice. Kind people, yeah. They might not step on toes if they don't feel like it, but there's no reason for it to be confused with niceness, which is saying what people want to hear, oftentimes, as opposed to what you believe. And kindness is really, if you think about it, telling people what they need to hear. Yeah. Yeah, in a respectful way. I think you could probably tease out another element of that. Like respect, might be a third element, right? Kind person for sure. Well, I definitely am not a nice person. I will accept kind to a degree. Definitions are a little different? Sure, sure. We didn't standardize our terms. We didn't operationalize the experiment here. There's no way that, we could be talking about exactly the same thing. But I do take offense to being called nice, you know? I don't think I am. And I will never agree to it because of my definition of nice. Strong morals? I don't know about morals. I think morals and values are very different too. Like, that was supposed to be another one of those id talks. The difference between morals and values. I see morals as a very intersubjective thing, right? And they're typically enforced externally. So morals are like social pressures, in a way, or social guidelines. And what I have are not social, they're internal. Things that I chose to value, which is why I call them values instead of morals. No, I'm just being ridiculous with how I define things. I like to have neat little boxes, and I like to make little schemas that are very idiosyncratic. It has nothing to do with your English. I'm sure most people would say that I'm being needlessly pedantic with my semantics, you know? So, it is not you. It is very much me with my strange, idiosyncratic verbiage, as it were. I don't know. I get... I think the world makes more sense to me when I can put it into tiny little boxes. I know the boxes aren't real, and I know the boxes are in some ways a hindrance, right? Because things in nature aren't in neat little boxes. Gonna make me have to write a damn essay? Hey, you don't have to say anything, you know? Like, I appreciate that you think I have nice traits. Or good traits. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about niceness that always rubbed me the wrong way. It's one of those personal things, right? Yeah. The only advice that I ever really took to heart, well, not the only advice, but the advice that I took most to heart from my father was, be the kind of person that can look yourself in the mirror every day. Because if you can still look yourself in the mirror every day, then you're probably doing okay. Yeah. So basically, don't live life with regrets. Don't do things which would make you, yourself, feel bad about them. I think that's great advice, right? So that's essentially what I try to do. And I can still look myself in the mirror. I don't really do it too often. I do it every day, though. And I can still do it. I could still do it today, despite, you know, talking about ringworm and rotting flesh and how to dispose of bodies. I can still do it. Still there. Yeah. I don't know. I think that there's probably a lot more advice that I could talk about. None of it's really important. I think that's the major facet of what life is. I could write an essay about how to properly live life. I could, I've done it before. I had a class in college about that. Life and death and meaning. But ultimately, there's really no way of saying what a good life is. I always subscribe to the belief that Tolstoy was more correct with his short story, The Death of Ivan Ilyich. If you've ever read it, it's... Ooh, big bass. It's very interesting, right? It's about a character who is slowly dying. Like, he suffers an injury, an internal injury, that puts him on his deathbed, and he realizes he's dying. And basically, the moral of the story is not to have a good life, but to have a good death. And to have a good death, you have to have a good life. It's a little paradoxical, but if you live your life in such a way that your death will be good, then you lived a good life. And if you don't, everybody will hate you, and they'll secretly be happy that you're dying on your deathbed. And then they'll try and take your things from you. Yeah? Hold on. Yeah? Thank you for liking my stream, Chrome Geo Basket. Okay. Someone's watching me on their Discord. Is that a problem? Tokyo Trump sent you. Okay. Thank you. I really do like fishing games. Nice to see you all. Thanks for the shout out, I guess. It's very strange getting a shout out from a Discord, right? It happens. That's just the nature of the internet, I guess. Oh, I see. That's strange. Well, you know, everybody's welcome. We're just gonna have a chill night here. Talking about fishing, talking about rotting flesh, whatever. Nice to see you. Is it because I have red hair? I do have red hair, yeah. Okay, okay. Hold on. Don't you do. No, no, no. We're not gonna have that. Everything else, but we're not gonna have that. Yes. Well, I appreciate the warning, everyone. It's true. Yes. Well, we got him. Favorite fish? My favorite fish... What a name. My favorite fish is... to eat? Bluegill. I like bluegill beer battered. I do have pretty quick reflexes. I am a real fisherman. We got him. Mission accomplished. Oh, that was a debacle, right? Favorite fish to eat is bluegill. Favorite fish in general? I have to say that I really enjoy, brook trout. Brook trout are so pretty, you know? Brook trout have a lot of bright colors. They're actually not trout. They're related to char, which are closer to related to, salmon, right? Yeah. mako sharks? Yeah. I've never actually done too much bay fishing or deep water fishing. Just a tiny bit, right? I remember fishing with cut up squid. Very slimy stuff. Very gross smelling. That's a cute trout. Also eat lobster with babies. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by eating lobster with babies? Do you eat the lobster babies? I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to eat female lobsters, right? Especially the pregnant ones. I think that's illegal. Do be careful, Biscuit. Yeah. Pipeweeds? I'm a big fan of pipe tobacco. Cavendish. Black and gold. Seems like... Yeah, it's a very easy game. It's not actually one of those realistic simulators. It's just one of those simple catch and release type games. It's kind of realistic in the way that you can choose different baits and different, like, rigs, but you're not actually tying fishing knots, you know? Eat the lobster babies. Okay, so you were talking about actually eating lobster babies. Cute trout, said no one ever? Trout are cute. Up in Maine. Yeah, there are a lot of Maine lobsters, right? I don't think there are too many lobsters... Well, they do go further south, but they're not too common, right? They're one of those cold water arthropods. So why fly for river fishing? Why not use worms? Right now I'm using minnows, right? So... I don't know. In real life, I use minnows a lot. And, I don't usually use bobbers. But I can't, like, switch that out in this game. It's not so interactive, you know? I can show you what I have. I don't even know if I have worms left. But right here, on our sidebar, we can switch things up. And I can change my baits to lures. I have chicken liver for catfish, different lures, and these baits. I don't have any worms with me. I have leeches, maybe? I don't know. I prefer the minnows. The minnows actually catch fish here. Like, some things take a while to bite. Yeah. Okay, okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. Not gonna answer that one. Leeches ruin content. You're not wrong. Yes, you're not wrong. Okay. We're having a good time. Okay. Okay. Yes. Uh-huh. Hold on a second. Where's the proof of what exactly? Yeah, I don't know. Really? Okay. I'm catching a lot of things, right? But I don't know if I'm catching fish anymore. You want to fish for orcas next. What do you even use to fish for orcas? What would you like, orcas are killer whales, right? I wish it were that simple, Diana. I wish it were that simple. Some people just want to enjoy the stream, you know? And, yeah. Like, this has never happened before. I don't even know how would I, you know? I don't know. It's one of those things I've never had to consider what my policies are. I have no idea what that means. I don't know. Uh-huh. I do play simulators. I play a lot of simulators. Hunting simulators, fishing simulators. I'm just going to say... This is a pretty chill environment, you know? We don't really have much of a moderation force here. But I will put my foot down if I have to. just trying to unwind at the end of a day with people, okay? I do not own guns in real life. I do, yes. I own fishing rods in real life. Several of them. I prefer to fish over hunting. I've never really had it in me to look an animal in the face, one with normal eyes and eyelids, you know, and pull a trigger on it. I'm also a terrible shot, if that matters. Guns are fun, don't get me wrong. I think they're pretty fun to shoot, and it's nice to have the ability to shoot one. I'm just not very good with them, and I never had it in me to, again, look at an animal like a squirrel, or a pheasant, or a quail, and pull the trigger on it. Like, it's different from catching a fish and killing it to eat it. Like, I'd probably do the same thing if I were gonna hunt squirrels, or pheasants, or turkeys. It just never appealed to me, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I fired a lot of weapons in my life. Just because of, you know, where I grew up. Yeah. But I've never actually been good with my shots. Not with rifles, not with shotguns, not with, handguns. I always go wide. And I have practiced quite a bit. Just a terrible shot, you know? Some people are like that. I think it's the, breath when I'm pulling the trigger. Not even allowed... Yeah, a lot of countries don't allow guns, which is very crazy to me, you know? I always thought that, it was strange that other countries wouldn't allow you to have guns. It's a culture shock in a lot of ways. If that land... I can cast over there, yeah. I can't cast as far as the tree, though, no. This is a really big fish. I'm pretty sure that most countries do have, like, rifle laws or shotgun laws for hunting. I know England has some pretty stringent laws, but you can buy them for hunting. So there is that. I don't know about your place, Lila, but that's true. Okay. I have no idea what's going on here. I will tell you that I will ban people for what I see as, well, basically just not enjoying the stream or not having a good time, you know? Trying to bring things down. You know what? I'm not gonna ban people who don't have a good time on my stream. You're allowed to not like my content. But, it's not good to, you know, try and bring the stream down. That's all. Yeah. So as long as you're, you know, just doing your thing, I will judge you by your actions in my chat. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm going to assume innocence until proven guilty. Just like my court of law. Which is funny, because, you know, I just, got my jury selection cancelled. So I don't have to go to that, yeah. What's the point of having a fishing license? It's a good question. A lot of states use fishing license proceeds to do water conservation or not reservation, but preservation acts. So they will stock waters with fry or even adult fish using money from those license proceeds. They will also clean up waterways to make sure that the fish they put in there have healthier lives. That way anglers can catch more fish. That's how my state does it. And I think it works out pretty well. Except they could probably do a little bit better on stocking the waterways. Really, they used to do a lot better, but they've gotten lazier over the years. Yeah, it's fine, you know? As long as people are enjoying the stream and not bringing things into the stream that they shouldn't. Like, this is not a place to do anything but escape for a while. Right? That's all we're here for. A moment of escapism with other people. Yeah. Sharing a moment together. I'm giving you a glimpse of my life here, right? I'm interacting with you all. That's what I'm trying to do. Sent from elsewhere. Yeah, yeah. I know some of them are definitely trolling me. I get that. And I'm no stranger to the internet. Trolling is a art, as it were. you oh, yeah, yeah. Get out of federal jury. Oh, no, not good. I'll just release it. Go back and finish fishing. There are plenty of ways to get out of jury duty. It's fine. You're supposed to go if you can, though. It's how the justice system works. Funny how we think about hunting differently. Yeah. Fishing's a lot more fun, personally. You don't have to gut an animal and leave, like, many kilograms of organs out. Which I always thought was a waste, right? Like, I figure, the liver is probably the most delicious part of an organism. And fish have tiny livers. So maybe, like, when you go hunting, you can keep the liver of a deer, and that'd be good. Like, you gotta get fresh liver. When the liver oxidizes, it turns all coppery, right? Yeah. I do not eat fish guts. I know people who do. They're apparently very bitter, but I'm sure people would find them tasty. I'm glad if you like my voice. Yeah. I see. Complex life? Yes, yes, very much so. Life is all about living, and as the Buddha said, to live is to struggle and suffer. So as long as you're suffering, you're living. That's another way of looking at it. I don't know. Favorite fish recipe? I like fish very simply, you know? I like to descale the fish, and then I will coat them in flour, and I will grill them in butter on a griddle. That's the best way to have trout. If you're going to have something like a panfish, like a bluegill, I like filleting them because it's much easier to fillet a bluegill than it is to fillet a trout, right? Yeah. And when you fillet something, it's much better when you beer batter it. Yeah. That's how I do it. Very interesting. Is salmon the best? I think salmon is overrated. I think salmon... Salmon has some interesting flavor, but it's only wild-caught salmon that has that pink coloration that comes from the krill, right? And that's where the flavor comes from, what the salmon is eating. So if you get very good salmon, then it's not so bad. But if you're talking about just like store-bought salmon, raised in a farm somewhere, I don't really prefer it. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Clubbing seals up north. You know, I used to play an MMO on the internet. It was browser-based called Kingdom of Loathing, and one of the classes was called a seal clubber. That was my first introduction to the art of seal clubbing. So, seal clubbing, I had no idea that that was even a practice for the longest time. My first introduction to it was as a class in a video game. KOL was awesome. And it's still active, by the way. The asymmetric crew, Jick, is still making games. Shadows over Loathing. I just played that not too long ago on this channel. At least a couple episodes of it. Yeah, it has like 2,000 active players now. I saw that, that's ridiculous. Like, I thought that game would be long dead after so many years. But, there's still so many people every day. It's a long shot from when I started, right? I started playing KOL in 2004, a year after it came out. And I was like under 200,000 in my player ID. My favorite fish to eat? Didn't you? I'm pretty sure I answered this. My favorite fish to eat is bluegill. It is the most delicious whitefish. The only problem with bluegill, other than cleaning them because they're so tiny, and filleting them is a pain, is that they are prone to freshwater parasites, right? Oh, I'm very sorry. um, yeah, my audio is a bit low. I do have it mixed properly, though. I'm pretty sure. I can't speak up any louder. This is the maximum gain on the microphone. I can add another gain filter eventually, but I don't like doing that. It amplifies other sounds. I... yeah, okay, fair. I think the sound is okay. It should be balanced properly. I do a fair amount of balancing outside of streams, right? Like, I know a lot of streamers who just press play without ever audio balancing things. I don't know. I think balancing is more important than anything else, really. A perch is a type of fish. They're predatory. Freshwater. Yeah. That's really all they are. Like most fish in freshwater, they will eat other fish. Overfishing is a problem in real life, but habitat destruction is a bigger problem, right? When we're talking about fishing illnesses, we're talking about things like mercury poisoning, heavy metals in the waterways, runoff from farms. Like, that's actually a really big deal. If you think about it, farm runoff... Well, tell your grandson hi. Thank you, Cheryl. You know what you can tell them? You can tell them that, you have a lovely time. Yes. There we go. Do you think climate change is killing them off? We're not there yet. Right now, the biggest problem is something even more insidious than that. All of the runoff from farmlands especially is high in nutrients, and those nutrients are things that are often limited in freshwater environments. Things like iron, which are essential for plant growth. Iron not being a big one, but in trace amounts, yes. Fish are not very intelligent. Why did I ban that sweet lady, I wonder? So when iron enters a limited environment, it will cause things like bacterial blooms, which can suffocate fish. They will selectively outbreed fish because they're just bacteria. They're very simple organisms. They can breed very quickly. And they will use all of the available oxygen in the water. And not only that, they can create biofilms, which will get caught in fish's gills, causing them to not even get what little oxygen is left in the water. So a lot of fish end up just suffocating, asphyxiating, because of farm runoff and the like. That's one of the bigger problems, really. Give it another 10 years, maybe we'll have issues with climate change and the increase in temperature. That's going to be a big one, because some fish are very, very temperature dependent. Yes, they're putting things in the water. That's right. Nice to see you all, yeah. I'm sorry, Diana. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary right now. I think, for the most part, this is going to be a one-off thing. And, yeah. People who don't want to enjoy the stream are just going to be there. I have not heard of the volcano sale. These problems can be fixed. We can do things like topsoil, not conservation, but basically making sure that erosional processes are contained. Things like not tilling fields, for example, leaving them fallow, allowing the root structures to maintain topsoil, will do a lot to actually reduce the amount of iron runoff into streams. That's a good way of doing it. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Deport all bacteria. You know, we need bacteria. The human body is more bacteria than human body. Pretty sure of that fact. You know, you're making this fun. Yeah, having a lot of fun tonight. I have to go to the dentist after this, you know? Yeah. I feel great going to the dentist after this. Kadeem, don't. Don't. Oh. I tried. Make a great teacher, Hyde. Well, you know, being a fisherman, you develop a great deal of patience. Because fish don't always bite. But I do appreciate that. I do not smoke weed. I do not like any kind of chemical other than nicotine and caffeine. Those are my vices. I don't even drink alcohol anymore. Oh yeah, the gut ones. The gut ones are very grumpy all the time. And it only gets grumpier, right? Like, I always try to do fermented foods, probiotics and stuff like that. But I don't know, as you age, it just gets worse and worse, right? What got me into fishing? I grew up very rural, right? So, unlike a lot of VTubers out there, I actually lived a very, like, rural lifestyle. Out in the boonies, fishing, hiking, that kind of stuff. When I was very young, I was taken to a fishing derby, is what they're called. And that's basically where people put a bunch of fish into a tiny little irrigation canal. And that's like the first exposure to fishing most kids get around here. And I loved it ever since, really. I caught a really nice fish, and from there on, I just decided I want to be a fisherman, you know? Just like my old man, just like his old man. Enjoy the outdoors. And doing that, I really grew an appreciation for all things outdoors. I ended up studying geology in later life. Biology and chemistry in high school, of course. Elle's story? Well, you know, it's my life story. It is very useful for when the collapse happens. A lot of people aren't preparing for it, but I think you really should try and gain as many skills as you can. Like, you never know when something will be useful, right? Yeah. W's story, that's right. I am not married, no. Never even been close. Elle is a great character. You know, I really do like Elle. Elle is a great, archetype for the intelligent but eccentric type. I think Elle probably is one of my favorite detectives out there. Very interesting. And I think he's onto something about sugar, right? When Elle talks about the brain needing sugar in order to think, I think there is evidence in some articles out there, some scientific articles, to suggest that people who think a lot use up a lot more glucose. So they need to replenish the sugar stocks. It's a big deal. Life is just boring. My life is very boring. It's very consistent. I enjoy it though, you know? Sometimes I get to fish in real life. That's pretty fun. You know, collapses happen all the time. Collapses are also opportunities for rebuilding. So, don't be too scared about collapses. They're opportunities more than anything. Yeah, yeah. I make other people look good, that's true too. In Praise of Shadows, that was Abe, right? I think that was Abe. In Praise of Shadows. Great book. If you've never read it, I highly recommend it. Second half of that show let you down? Yeah. Yeah, the second half of that show was awful. The first half was okay. It's not my favorite detective story, but it has some fantastic characters. I will give you that. Lived more in contact with nature. It is great for your health so long as the nature is also good for your health, right? Like, some nature is just horribly polluted, and you don't want to be there. Places of chemical spills. Like Chernobyl. Chernobyl is filled with nature nowadays, but I wouldn't want to live there. But yeah, in general, city life... City life seems like it would take a few years off your life expectancy. Like, it just seems so stressful. I've driven through cities. Thankfully, I've never lived in a city. If I ever lived in a city, I feel like I'd just go insane, you know? I don't think I could do it. I hope you can get out of there too. And we're already full of fish again. Isn't that ridiculous? These have been some pretty big fish. Like, look at this thing. I used to have a plastic bass that would sing. You know, the wall-mounted ones. Billy Big Mouth Bass. They looked almost exactly like that plastic texture in this video game. It's fantastic. You know, I'm sure the developer did their best, right? I bought this game on sale for like $2. I can't complain. I've had a lot of fun with it. Live in a city and you hate it. Yeah. I don't blame you. I've never lived in a city and I already hate cities. Petting bisons, though. I don't know if there are too many bison left out there. I'm pretty sure most bison are extinct or in, like, reserves, if there are any. Pretty sure the American bison is pretty much extinct. Maybe other bison, like water buffalo? Do those count? I don't know. Lots of dogs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do get to bug me. I actually don't think you bug me too much, Diana. I enjoy your company. Yeah. It's always nice to have people come and chat. Like, I do these streams for the community engagement, right? Generally, I just make videos. Cities are like a zoo. Cities are like a zoo. They're like a human zoo, right? They're like a human zoo, and people do all these strange things, and you can watch them. It's like the best part of a city. When I went through cities, I would often see people doing strange things, like busking on the sidewalk. You don't see that too often in rural places. So it is a bit like watching a monkey in a zoo, right? Yeah. Or they were selling things on the street sides. You don't do that around here. People would be very unhappy if you did that around here, at least. This game is very dope. I will give it that. It's called Fishing Simulator. Yeah. Fishing World Simulator, maybe? I don't know. It was on sale on the Nintendo Switch for like $2. I've gotten my $2 out of it. It's true. Why didn't I go pro with fishing? You know, most pro fishing is bass fishing, and I never really liked bass fishing. I was always more of a trout fisherman, and I did do some pike and walleye and muskie, thing like that, you know? But I never really liked bass. Bass require a lot of lure techniques that I don't really enjoy. There's a lot of wrist movement, you know? Yeah. Also, it's not as fun, right? Like, a lot of bass fishing is done on lakes and ponds, whereas I like to fish streams and rivers, right? Completely different environments for fish, completely different types of fish. If there were pro fishing things for, like, river fishing, maybe. Maybe I would have done that. Use AI to make Edward Hyde's Pro Fisher 2025. I don't know if AI is there yet. It's getting darn close, though. Eventually, you'll be able to make your own game by just typing in a prompt to an AI, and it'll code it for you. And it'll probably do all the art for you, too. That's gonna be a scary world, right? I think that's gonna be scary. Illegal exotic pet ownership is definitely a problem. It is. It is absolutely a problem, but I can't say anything about that. Because again, like my high school English teacher had a pet raccoon. So what can I say, right? What can I say about that? Too much, yeah, too much wrist work for bass fishing. Sorry. I don't like having huge wrists, you know? Yeah. Going to New York City in 2 weeks? What for, Biscuit? I don't think I've been to New York City proper. I've been on the outskirts, and it is not fun dealing with the traffic, so I hope you well through there. Uh-huh. What's my ideal fishing game look like? Well, I think that having a little bit more control over the fishing line itself would be interesting. I think being able to tie my knots properly, adding swivels, a little bit more realism. But I'm not too displeased with the ability to catch fish like this. Like some games, you can see what the fish are doing underwater. I don't like that. That's not very realistic. So I actually prefer this game as it is, in that regard. Yeah. I don't know anything about that. Raccoons are very cute, but they are technically an exotic pet, because there are no raccoon dealers out there, right? You can't just go to a pet shop and get a pet raccoon. I don't even think you can go to an exotic pet shop. They're like a wild animal, you know? You gotta catch them young. This is a great YouTube live stream. I'm happy you like it. YouTube recommended you. I'm happy YouTube recommended it. This is not usually how active the stream is. Usually it's just a quiet place to enjoy some strange topics, right? Like earlier we were talking about ringworm and whether dead skin counted as necrotic flesh. And yeah, somehow we got here. Strange, right? I have New York City is loud. Yeah. I hear cities stink a lot. Like some cities actually stink of things. I think New York City was built on landfill. A lot of it is landfill, a lot of it was agricultural land. So there's still a lot of like manure profiles in the soil of New York City, which is strange to think about, right? Like you look at this urban sprawl and you associate that with a farm, and yet that's what it used to be. A lot of that land used to be farmland. And it makes sense, right? It's right on a river. Yeah. There's a lot of fresh water. Of course there's going to be farmland there. Not a fan of raccoons, but that Pedro. I don't know that meme. I'll have to look that one up. Wow, Lila knows memes that I don't know. I'm getting old. Line-centric with realistic, not gameplay. You don't have to say it like that. You don't have to say it like that. I shouldn't have to say it like that. You got me. Well done. Yeah. Can fish in lightning, but possibly only once? It depends on what your rod's made of, right? Like, graphite rods seem like they would be non-conductive, although I don't know. Graphite might be very conductive for all I know. Fiberglass might be conductive. I know aluminum rods would seem like a good conductive one. It would also depend like the size of the rod too, right? Like if you have something bigger than 6 feet, it might be the tallest thing on a riverbank. And then yeah, you're probably lightning rod central. Hard to say. Do I see lots of raccoons in the USA? Never see one roaming free. Yeah, there are a lot of raccoons around me. In fact, one of the biggest predators for fish in this area are raccoons. Raccoons will go up right to the banks at night, and they will wait at the shallows for fish to pass by, and they'll reach out and grab them. Those and birds of prey, like fishers and eagles and things like that, are some of the predators for fish in the area. Other than, of course, bigger fish. Bigger fish will eat smaller fish 9 out of 10 times. So yeah, there are plenty of raccoons here. And unfortunately, they really love trash cans, which are an easy source of food. Yeah. Really where it comes from? Lots of raccoons in Texas. Put food out for... Yeah, I've seen videos about that. People putting food out for raccoons on their porch. And feeding them hot dogs. Things like that. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, it's cute, and I'm happy the raccoons are getting fed. Especially when humans are getting rid of a lot of the environment necessary to sustain, like, wildlife. I do find it a bit of a problem. Unfortunately, I don't know how I feel about it, right? Like, as useful and helpful as it is, maybe it's better for the raccoons to find their own food elsewhere. I don't know. I've never really thought about it too much before. They're usually just getting into my trash cans or catching fish that I want to catch. Silly song with a raccoon dancing in it like a spinning circle? Oh, one of those memes. Why not? Captain Content, hi. Hi! Hi, Captain Content, welcome to the stream. Why not what? Why not do I like raccoons? Because they steal fish. Or do you mean why not for the porch feeding? I don't know. I think nature has to be left to nature sometimes, you know? Like, ecologically speaking, these organisms have a niche, right? And in their niche, they control the populations of other things. So they might eat an overabundance of salmon in a waterway, for example. And then the things that eat raccoons will have enough raccoons to eat. And it keeps it all in balance in the food chain, right? When humans feed animals, you can cause booms in population, right? And sometimes you would create too many raccoons because they have too much food. And when there are too many raccoons, then there are no fish, right? And then there are no other things which eat fish because everything is getting eaten by raccoons. But eventually those raccoons will starve. And when those raccoons starve, then the whole food chain is disrupted again. So it's a really complicated situation. Kind of messed up most of the balance already, though. You're not wrong. Humans in our infinite wisdom have tried to make things right. And oftentimes when we try to make things right, we cause even greater ecological disturbances than what we had initially created. The best thing to do most of the time is absolutely nothing. There's no such thing as too many raccoons. I think there are too many things. Yeah, there is definitely a thing as too many raccoons. But wait until they're in your garbage cans, knocking them over, eating your trash. Then there are too many raccoons. You wish you could see raccoons? Oh, that's sad. Raccoons tend to be, not necessarily nocturnal, but they prefer, like, dusk hours and night. So you'd probably have a better chance of seeing them when it's evening, right? Yeah. Evening or night would be your best bet. Very unfortunate that the only ones you've seen are the ones that, have been run over, though. That's sad. Like, I'm not happy about seeing them in my trash cans, but I wouldn't be happy about seeing them run over either. That seems awful. Yeah. Raccoons should take over the world just like cats, yes? Well, you know, raccoons are kind of like cats. They're adorable because they have those bandit masks. And, yeah, I could see them competing with cats to take over the world. It wouldn't be that big of a... Yeah, it wouldn't be that big of a stretch, would it? In fact, raccoons have the advantage of having opposable thumbs, don't they? Yeah. So they're even cuter than cats. And they can procure more food than cats because they can raid your pantries. They'd definitely have an easier time with human infrastructure. Saw a possum a couple months ago. Oh. Froze and waddled away. I'm surprised it didn't play dead. Like, the American opossum is one of the most interesting American animals. It is actually a marsupial, which means it is pouch, right? Like a kangaroo, it has a pouch. Which is fascinating to me. It is one of the only American marsupials still living. Yeah. And they do a wonderful job of eating clusters of ticks. So please be kind to the American opossums. I know they're very cute, and I know you can make them play dead, but please be kind to them. Unless you want a lot of Lyme's disease. Yeah. Which I don't want. Yeah. Ecological disturbances are because animals don't care about overhunting. Animals don't really have the foresight to think about overhunting. They see an environment rich with resources and they reproduce. It's very naturalistic in that sense. They're not thinking about it. You're absolutely correct. But to call it anything more than that, I don't know. Like, if there's enough food to eat, they will reproduce indefinitely until they get to the point where space becomes an issue. Like the rat utopias. Yeah. A lot of things I say aren't true. Little guys get too close to the road. Raccoons are smarter, so they're more dangerous. I don't know if they're more dangerous. Like, a raccoon could hold a knife. A cat can't hold a knife. So maybe you mean more dangerous in that they could, like, learn how to use a gun or a knife or something? Which you're absolutely right. A raccoon with a gun or a knife would be terrifying. We would become hunted. They're not cuter than cats. Nothing is cuter than cats. Kittens. Kittens are cuter than cats. Cats would go for the eyes. Fun fact, when humans die, and they have pet cats, the cats do go for soft tissues like eyes and lips and tongues. So you're absolutely right, cats would go for the eyes. That's just part of nature. Soft tissues are easier to eat like that, right? You like ticks, I see. Well, if you like Lyme's disease and not eating meat ever again because of Lone Star disease or whatever it was, that's on you. Maybe. Sure, why not? Save your money on proteins. Get soy-based proteins, plant-based ones. There's nothing wrong with that. I like having the option, though, you know? Yeah, I like having the option. What else do we have? I don't like limes, no. I don't like limes at all. I think limes are too bitter. I will eat a lemon, though, you know? Like, give me a lemon, and I'll bite into it like an apple. I really like the peel, too. The peel has a lot of, like, oils that burn and tingle. They're very nice. It's a very nice tingle. Like, some people like spicy food. I like oils from citrus peels. Yeah. Possums... I don't know if possums eat limes. No. That guy ate a slug and got rat lungworm disease. I have not heard about that. It's very possible. A lot of slugs are carriers for things like fluke worms, river flukes, or not river flukes, sheep flukes, for example. And yeah, they're one of the intermediary hosts of the parasite for sheep flukes. It's quite possible. And yes, there are things like brain-eating amoebas out there you have to be careful about. They can absolutely cause you a lot of pain. Cats are more agile, but my money's on the raccoons. Raccoons have more dexterity. Yeah, the money is on raccoons. If we're gonna bet on which one's gonna take over after humans. Although, I think kangaroos might have a good chance. I would not eat a lime. Limes are disgusting. They're very bitter. I don't mind lime juice, but in very limited quantities. You've never had... Yeah, you can eat lemon rind. Have you never had candied orange peel? Candied orange peel is delicious. And most lemon-flavored candies, like lemon heads, are flavored to be more like the lemon peel than the lemon fruit, right? The lemon pulp. That's where lemon-flavored candies come in. Yeah. It's mostly in the peel, not so much the fruit pulp. Most things don't like citrus. That's true. A lot of things don't actually like citrus. Like citronella is a common pesticide or... Well, not pesticide, but you can burn citronella candles to keep pests away, which is very useful. Although it's not a true citrus, it does share some of the oils. Drink Windex. I do not recommend that. Fun fact, ancient torture techniques here, where I'm from, place several ticks on the whole... I see. That is, creative, right? There are a lot of creative torture techniques out there. Yeah. Like boiling someone in a metal bowl and letting the steam create a bellowing sound. That's an interesting torturing technique. Another fun one was the, what was it called? The Pear of Paradise or the Pear of Pain. The one where you stick the pear aperture in, well, sometimes a mouth, and then you let it expand, right? Like it's one of those twisty things where these apertures open up. Yeah, there are a lot of crazy tortures out there. People, I wish they spent more time trying to figure out how to do things productively than how to torture people. But, that's not what history had in mind, you know? Like, history is a very bloody thing. I'm fine, you know? This stream is fine. We are going to be ending soon, unfortunately. Can't even eat oranges? Ooh. Ooh. Because of the texture. I've never heard that before. Like lemon... something? Yeah. Citrus and sour things are pretty great. I like sweet and sour. I do not like sour and salty. Like, sour and salty are just a strange combination. The only sour and salty combination I like are, like, fermented vegetables. Things like sauerkraut. Those are what I prefer. Lemon juice coffee. No. What are you even doing in my chat, talking about these things? Please, do not use that. That is dangerous. Coffee itself is acidic, and lemon juice is more so. Please be kind to the soft tissues of your bodies. Thank you. Yes, I do have a filling that needs to get fixed, but it's mostly cleaning tomorrow. Yeah. Huge acidity difference, totally different experience. You people. What's dangerous about it? Oh, inflammation, right? Yeah. You might cause inflammation because of the acidity. You can cause damage to the soft tissues. So please do be careful with anything acidic or too basic in that matter. Yeah. You want to be gentle to your body, right? You don't want to cause inflammation or damage, which could lead to further inflammation. I know it's probably a real thing. I wouldn't be surprised. People are doing all kinds of things. um, it isn't because of enamel, right? Like, I had a filling done, and it was a bad filling. I guarantee it was a bad filling. My dentist is on the way out, right? He's old, he's retiring, he's going to sell his practice, so he doesn't care about the quality of his work anymore. That's essentially what's happening. So I'm stuck with a bad filling, and every time I go back, he just refuses to fix it, because he doesn't want to fix it. Cocaine is not acidic, but it will cause, damages. I think, like most alkaloids, it's probably basic, but I don't know, I'd have to check. Yes, if someone can think of it, it's probably been done. Meth, I have no idea. No idea. Bad dentistry is always fun. I guess it's fun for the dentist. Like, personally, I would hate to be a dentist. Could you imagine sticking your hands in someone else's mouth? Like, multiple someone else's mouth every day? Day in, day out? I could not do that. I would get tired of it too. And I can understand wanting to retire early. But the fact of the matter is, I've been going to this dentist for 6 months for this same filling. And I'm getting tired of it. A lot of people in existence. A lot of ideas. No idea is ever a new idea. Why don't I get a new dentist? There is no other dentist in this area. Very rural living. I'd probably have to go to a barber, you know? Like back in the day when there were dentists who were doubling as barbers. I'll tell you what, I think this is where we're gonna end it for the day. Poor dentist. The dentist is not poor. The dentist is doing just fine. That's how they get you. It's a cash grab. Yeah, I have to keep going back and keep paying for my visits. That's true. They're making a good chunk of change off of me. What do you do when he retires? I have no idea. I'll probably have to drive an hour or two for a different dentist, which is not great, because that's like a one-way. Why am I leaving? I usually only stream for about an hour, and I do have a dentist appointment in about 4 hours, so that's why I'm leaving now. Yeah. uh, that's not on me. I don't really care what people do with my voice. You do whatever you want with it. I won't stop you, as long as you're doing it privately. Yes. Yeah, I had a good time. Thank you all for joining me today. It was fun. But we're gonna call it here. Yeah. I'll see you all next time. But for now, hide out. Good night, all.